What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to be talking about food, and specifically how to make the process of eating enjoyable while still being able to go to your goals of losing body fat and building muscle. So I'm making this video kind of as a follow-up to the recent video that we released, which is how to properly calculate your calories and macronutrients, which is absolutely the most important thing if you are trying to go down a weight loss journey. You have to understand how much and what kind of food you're putting into your body. So that video was very particular, like, hey, go to our calculator, put this information in. It was more like structured in terms of this is exactly what you do. Today's video is more of like my thoughts and how I approach eating to make it enjoyable, like I said, and how do I, in this modern day world that we live in, filled with, we're all busy, there's constant temptation, things being pushed in our face at restaurants and grocery stores. How do you make sense of your external environment in order to eat healthy, feel good, but still, like I said, enjoy your life? So today's video is going to be sort of a FAQ, like frequently asked questions, or just different things and philosophies or methodologies that I apply to my own life to make the process of eating and staying lean much easier. So let's get into it, lad. Get into it. Okay, first of all, in addition to knowing how much you have to eat, let me just say, you don't need to eat all the time. Just get this into your head right now. You do not need to constantly be eating food all the time like the world has trained us to do. We, especially in Western culture, have been trained to eat 3 large meals a day. When we're over at someone else's house, it's rude not to eat everything on your plate. If you go home to see mom and dad, they give you like all this food and you're expected to eat it because it's rude if you don't. I just want you to know your health and fitness is your health and fitness, and that is more important than anything else. So in a world where we are constantly tempted to consume everything, just know, just not eating as much is not bad for you. And honestly, there's a lot of physical benefits that come with just not stuffing your face all the time. So a constant theme that I'm usually talking about here at Jump Rope Dudes is that we are just, as a collective in the world, dude, we're just eating too much. Like, yes, there are people out there who struggle with gaining weight. Like, there's some people who will hit us up and be like, hey, I'm skinny and I'm trying to gain muscle and I have a problem. I don't eat enough. But I will say that a majority of the people, especially the demographic of this channel, and what most people struggle with in the world, is they have excess body fat and they're constantly trying to not eat too much. Like, most of what the world struggles with, in my opinion, everyone is just consuming too many calories. So as we go through this video, the first thing I just want to say is get it out of your head that you constantly have to eat food. One thing that definitely makes weight loss a lot easier, and also from an enjoyment standpoint, is, dude, just focus on your protein. Most of what I eat, guys, is just like, I just pick a protein that I want to eat for the day. And by the time I get done eating that, I've already used up a bunch of my calories, but I'm also totally satisfied. And now I have a bunch of protein in my system to help me rebuild and repair my muscle. So for example, every day, I don't really eat much during the beginning of the day. I might snack a little bit on some fruit, some beef jerky, some nuts, something like that. If I have leftover meat in the fridge, I might eat that. But I usually decide every day, okay, tonight I'm gonna have a pound of ground turkey or half a pound of ground turkey. I'm gonna have a big piece of salmon, or I'm gonna have a big piece of steak. I'm also gonna have a couple fried eggs on the side, maybe with some kimchi. The point that I'm trying to make is, if you focus on what protein am I gonna eat for the day, you're going to be able to build muscle a lot easier, but you're also gonna feel satisfied, and it's going to lessen the likelihood that you are going to binge eat processed carbohydrate rich food, because in general, that's what you want to avoid. Eating lots of carbs, in my opinion, it's going to make you want to eat more and more carbs. So I'm not saying I'm not like a 0 carb person. I believe in eating carbs. I eat them every day. But if you plan your diet around how many carbs you're eating, you're probably going to continue to eat that, to just eat a lot of food mindlessly. You're not going to get enough protein, and then you're going to overconsume your calories and you're not going to hit your goals. Because let's be honest, the carbohydrate rich processed foods are the easiest to eat the most of, because it's like ice cream, French fries, pizza, chips, all the things that are bad for you are typically the easiest to eat. So prioritize your protein. And by the way, we have a food list that you can check out, which is linked up in the description of this video. But I eat very basic, and our food list just kind of outlines the approved foods. We have like an approved foods list. So it's just like, this is mostly the foods I'm eating every single day. So check out our food list. It's linked up below, but that's basically what I'm eating 90% of the time. The stuff that, outside the other 10%, that's when I'm like on a date or I'm on vacation or it's the weekend and someone's having like a gathering or something. I might eat more of that indulgent food. But for the most part, 90% of my time, I'm eating only food that's on that list in that PDF. To piggyback off what I just said, it's good to have a staple list of things that you can eat all the time that help you stay lean. So the more that you make them over and over again, it just becomes mindless. Like I can take a chicken breast and cut it into cubes and cook that in like 8 to 10 minutes. And I have delicious chicken that's pretty much only protein that I can just eat as a snack. So I think it's really important that as you go down this path of learning to cook for yourself and make food, that you have like designated items of food that you eat all the time that are good for you. They're going to help you build muscle, lose body fat, and it's going to, again, lessen the likelihood that you're going to go get something bad for yourself or go to the grocery store and get a bunch of cereal or chips or something like that. So an example of that for me is, like I said, chicken. I eat a lot of eggs and bacon. I'll put some kimchi on there. Sometimes I'll just make a quick steak. I'll eat beef jerky. I'll eat a handful of nuts. Just something that is like higher in protein and fat and less in carbohydrates. I want to interrupt this video and let you guys know about the Total Body Torch program, which is our newest 4-week program that we just launched in the Jarity app. And we're also running a challenge with it in the month of January. So if you want to sign up, the link is right here. All the details are there. When you get because you get the challenge, but you also get access to everything else because the challenge, we're doing it within the app. So you can do monthly, we have a big discount on a full year subscription. So it's $120 for the whole year. And that gives you access to every single program that we've made. So the 3-month follow along programs like Jarity Max, Dumbbell, Shredded Ninja is in there. 1-month programs, we have our nutrition system and the accountability and coaching forum. So the app is a good resource to use if you are someone who is trying to lose weight and needs workouts, nutritional guidance, and accountability. Total Body Torch is going to be 4 weeks of workouts, and they're all about like 30 minutes in length. Beginners or advanced can do this. Like it's basic enough that a beginner can make it through or at least modify some of it. And then if you're more advanced, it's definitely very challenging as well. So we're using 1/4 pound, 1/2 pound, and the 1 pound ropes in this, plus a bunch of just other body weight exercises to, like the title suggests, torch your body. So yeah, check it out. Join us. It's going to be fun. And if you're looking to lose weight in 2025, this is a great way to start. The link's popping up right here. Back to the video. Another thing to think about. So in the video where I talk about how to calculate your calories and macros, you have, let's say, so my resting, in order for me to maintain and be exactly 190, 195 pounds like I am right now, my maintenance calorie value is like 3,000 calories. If I eat 3,000 calories every single day, I will pretty much stay exactly the same. If I eat 2,500 calories every day, I will start to lose body fat. And if I eat more than 3,000, I will start to gain body fat, even if I'm gaining muscle at the same time. Now, this is important because instead of worrying about, am I hitting my calories perfectly every single day? That's fine. And you can do it that way. But I'm someone who, like most people, Monday through Friday is the work week. So I'm not going out to dinner as much. I'm not usually in situations where I'm tempted to eat, dessert or indulgent food. And so therefore, during the week, I definitely tend to eat less. So because I have 3,000 calories per day to eat, that's 21,000 calories over the span of 7 days. Monday through Friday, I might only eat like 2,000 calories per day, or maybe one day I eat like 2,500 calories, because I know that on the weekend, I'm probably going to eat 4,000 calories on Saturday, maybe another 4,000 on Sunday. Now, this doesn't happen every single week. Some weeks I do just eat, 3,000 calories every single day. Or if I'm really trying to cut, let's say I've been off my routine for a little bit and I'm really trying to lose body fat, I might eat 2,500 calories every day for 2 weeks. The point that I'm trying to make here is, if you can't be perfect every single day, just try to get within the range of your calorie and macronutrient macronutrient value within a week or within 2 weeks. You don't need to be hitting that number every single day. But again, your body is just a math equation. So I wouldn't be eating a ton during the week, and then you get to the weekend and it's someone's birthday, and of course you're gonna probably overeat then. So my rule of thumb for myself is when I'm having like a boring night, which tonight's boring, like I'm just making videos, I'm gonna make myself dinner, probably watch some TV and go to bed. On nights like this, I'm gonna eat way less. I'm gonna eat mostly protein. It's gonna be super clean and healthy because I know that coming up this weekend, there's a football game on Sunday, and I'm definitely gonna have some wings and beer and probably overeat a little bit. And so I'm kind of taking that into account as I plan my week out. The next thing I want to talk about is don't stress so much about the scale and calories and macros too. Like when you use the calorie and macronutrient calculator from the last video, I want you to start eating that way so you can hit those calorie goals. But I want you to constantly be looking at yourself in the mirror, every week, every 2 weeks, to see what type of progress you're making. Because if you are actually hitting every one of those calories and you are not really seeing that much of a change, that tells you, okay, maybe I should lower my calorie intake from what the calculator said a little bit. So from there, you can take like 200 calories off, start hitting that consistently, and then see how you look. Again, this information is all in the how to calculate your calories and macros video, but just sort of wanted to remind you guys of it in this one. All right, next, processed sugars and alcohol are just like, they don't make your body look good. I don't know how else to say this. I don't have any kind of like fancy scientific way of saying this. I have noticed in myself and from just coaching and working with other people for the last 10 years, when you are eating processed sugary food, you just are gonna wake up the next day like feeling a little bit bloated, a little bit puffy, just not great. And then alcohol on top of that has to, that can give you lots of inflammation. Whenever I drink alcohol, the next day I always feel puffy, and especially when I have like let's say I'm at a wedding and I'm eating ice cream for dessert and then I'm having some red wine, I always wake up the next day, my skin's red, I'm puffy, I feel bloated. I don't like the way that I feel. And so life is about enjoying it, eating all the food. For anyone who watches our channel, you know that I'm like all about traveling all over the world, eating everyone's dessert, eating everyone's food, having that country's drink, like whatever it may be. But just know, if you are eating mostly processed sugar and alcohol, or you're doing it consistently, dude, you're just sabotaging all of the work that you're doing. So it's fine to do that in moderation, but I would say like at least 60 to 70% of the time, maybe 80% some weeks, you should just be eating whole, real food, which is fruits, nuts, meats, fish, vegetables, what I talk about a lot on this channel. So sugar and alcohol and having fun is not a bad thing, but just know if you cut those two things out, you will lose body fat and be able to build muscle a lot faster, and you will like the way you look. Also, drink water. Just drink water. Sometimes when I'm really hungry, I'm not even hungry. It's just because I need to drink water. So that will help you get rid of that craving sometimes. Another thing to think about is when you are eating crappy food, I just eat crappy food in small amounts. So let me give you an example. I was surfing in Mexico a couple months ago, and I was staying in this little village that only had one restaurant. So I basically was eating like a burger every single day. But instead of eating like a burger and eating ice cream and eating all this other junk, I was just like, okay, this restaurant, the best protein source for the next 5 days for me is this burger that they have. So I'm just gonna eat this burger every single night. And then during the day, I'll drink coffee, I'll eat fruit, I'll try to just eat healthier everything else. But at night, I'm gonna eat this burger because that is my best source of protein. So no, I wouldn't recommend eating burgers every single day, but I just knew that like, okay, I'm not on my routine, so let me just not overeat and I'll just eat a little bit of this. Or I've had other times where Portugal was an example of like, I was in a place where there was like just a lot of carbohydrate rich foods and it was sort of hard to get a good source of protein. So rather than, just stuffing my face with bread and all these like carb rich foods, I just ate a little bit of everything and made sure that I didn't drastically go over my calorie count, even if most of my calories were made up of carbs. Next thing I want to say, you're gonna binge and you're going to fall off the wagon. It might be for one day, it might be for 5 days. I do this. Like I've done this recently where like I just eat a little bit too much, maybe over the course of a weekend, and then Monday comes around, I'm like, I gotta lose, I want to lose a little bit of weight, get back in shape. Best piece of advice I have is when this happens to you, don't freak out. If you eat too much or you just go off the rails, because you're human and that's what we do, life is meant to be enjoyed, the next day, don't freak out. Just eat super high protein, drink a bunch of water, start walking, start moving your body. Don't let yourself just binge and then be like,
I ruined all my goals, so I'm gonna keep binging for another week.
A binge every now and again is totally fine. Obviously, over time, you want to lessen the frequency of that happening. But when you do it, don't freak out. Just get back on track the next day by, like I said, lowering your calories, making most of those calories that you do eat from protein, drinking a bunch of water, exercising, walking, etc. Another one too is like, I notice, I'm not saying you have to drink stimulants, so I'm not like promoting you. If you don't drink coffee and you're fine, then don't, it's fine. But I have noticed that something like coffee does help to curb my appetite. So in the mornings when I wake up and I have a little bit of coffee, I'm not going to be hungry the rest of the day. And again, the game that we're trying to play here is just not overeating. So even just having that little bit of coffee might mean that you eat 500 or 700 calories less for the day. And every single day over the course of a year, that definitely adds up. The last thing I want to say, anyone who is struggling with just eating too much or binging or being bulimic or whatever, you might want to seek professional help. Like if you feel that you have an eating disorder and you just literally cannot stop eating and you're eating all kinds of junk food and you've watched these videos and you're like, Dan, I'm trying so hard, but I just can't do it. Man, go to therapy. There has to be a specialist on the internet that can help you work through these food related problems and really get to the root of it that I'm just not going to be able to do as someone who makes YouTube videos and health and fitness advice. So if you are having trouble just with not being able to stick to your goals and eating too much, I would consider seeking professional help through therapy to do that. All right, y'all, that was it for today's video. I know I've made a lot of similar videos to this video, so I know that I'm repeating myself a little bit, but again, this video lives inside of the Jarity app, which is the one-stop, VIP place for anyone who is trying to go through a weight loss transformation and just wants us to hold their hand and walk them through it in a more structured way. So this video is just like, again, I'm gonna give you the exact things you need to do, but I like to make videos like this to also kind of let you know, like, this is how I think about these things to make it easier to actually implement into your life. All right, appreciate you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, drop them down below. We'll see you on the next video.